Don't have an estate plan and wondering where to start? Or do you have an estate plan and you're wondering, do I have all the right components in place? Well, if either of those are you, then this video is for you. Hapanowitz & Associates is a wealth management and investment advisory firm. We're based in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We have clients all over. And although our main focus is investment management and financial planning, estate planning is a huge piece of that conversation that we have with clients and with their estate planning attorneys. And although estate planning might not be the most urgent matter that you would think to handle or take care of, it's actually one of the most important pieces of work that you could do when it comes to wealth management and wealth planning. And that's because estate planning serves as the foundation for those assets to transfer from one person to another or transition from one generation to the next. And it allows those assets to transition in the most tax efficient way possible. And also from the standpoint of, the emotional aspect of it as well. And so with me today is a very special guest, back in the hot seat. He's been here before, Corey Omasta, attorney at Williams Colson. Corey, thank you so much for being with us. We work on a lot of clients together, H&A and Williams Colson. And so what we're gonna do today is talk about the main components of an estate plan. So ready to get started?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you for having me here,
Oh, absolutely.
Christina.
Thanks for being here. So, component number one, the will. Corey, tell us, what is the will? What is the purpose? Go ahead.
The purpose of the will is, there are a couple things. The first is if you have any minor children, it appoints guardians for those minor children if you and your spouse have passed away.
Mm-hmm.
Who is responsible for them? Who manages their affairs? Things like that. The second is marshaling your assets, or collecting your assets and distributing your assets how you want them to be.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be however you want, to your spouse, to your children, to friends, relatives.
Okay.
Those are really the main components of the will. And usually in an estate plan, the will, because it is a public record, we send all the assets to what's called a revocable trust.
Mm-hmm.
The revocable trust contains how your assets are going to be distributed and who gets them. And that is not public record. So for privacy reasons, it just makes more sense to put all the assets into this kind of secret document or hidden document from the public.
Now, a revocable trust does not make your assets not part of your estate anymore, though, correct?
That's correct. It's still part of your federal taxable estate, and if you are a resident of Pennsylvania, which has inheritance tax, it's still part of your taxable estate for Pennsylvania inheritance tax.
Okay, so that first component, the will, the second component is that revocable trust. Now, everybody should have a will, right?
Yes.
Would you recommend that everybody have a revocable trust then, or is that a case-by-case scenario?
In most cases, I would say, yes, you should have a revocable trust because it's planning for the future.
Okay.
So even if you're maybe a young couple that doesn't have significant wealth right now, in the future, you likely will. And you will build those assets up as you get older and you succeed in your career.
Mm-hmm.
So really, it's a flexible document, so you're set up for the future and not revising an estate plan within 2 years or 5 years or something like that.
Okay, so the next two components that we're going to talk about, maybe they're not thought of as much as a will at the very least. So let's talk about that third component, financial powers of attorney or power of attorney. So tell me, what is the significance of a financial power of attorney?
A financial power of attorney appoints an agent who can act in your place. It's just like yourself for all financial matters. If you are, for whatever reason, unable to manage your financial affairs, it's an important document. It names someone, it could be a spouse, relative, or friend, who can act in your place to do banking or real estate transactions or any type of financial matter. And this is a really important document because if you do become incapacitated for whatever reason and you can't act, you can't manage your financial affairs, the other option is a guardianship, which number one is very public. It's a court proceeding that costs, in excess probably of $15,000.
And takes longer too.
And takes longer,
Yeah.
yes. So really that financial power of attorney, which is a very simple document, saves thousands of dollars.
So to summarize, some people might put in place a financial power of attorney to use or to utilize while they are living their life, but maybe they're so busy and they have so many, plates in the air that, they're having someone else help them manage their affairs. Whereas a lot of people put into place a financial power of attorney, maybe more so on the chance that they do become incapacitated and that agent that's appointed is able to act on their behalf. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. It can be used in both circumstances.
Okay.
So if you are maybe on a cruise or, on a trip where you don't have access to the internet, and there's a real estate transaction that you're entering into, your financial agent could act on your behalf. So you don't have to concern yourself while you are, kind of out of touch.
Sure. All right. So the fourth component of an estate plan, healthcare power of attorney. So talk to me about what a healthcare power of attorney does.
So unlike a financial power of attorney, a healthcare power of attorney only comes into effect when you are incapacitated. You are unable to make medical decisions. And really, this informs who that person is you want to make your healthcare decisions, as well as any instructions you want regarding care while you're incapacitated. And that's really important if you have a lot of family members, close to you, and maybe they have disagreements about your care or how they think you want to be cared for during this unfortunate time. Right. So really, it puts into play, it saves a lot of family arguments, and especially for care that's going to be long-term while you're, if you're incapacitated.
Can you name more than one person as your agent in a healthcare power of attorney?
Absolutely. And you can for a financial power of attorney as well. I would like to say that. You can name more than one agent. You can provide how the agents act. Do they have to act unanimously or by majority vote if there's more than two? So really, you have a lot of flexibility in that document. I always say it's, while it is a legal document, it's a little bit less legal because you also put in there your wishes, how you want your end-of-life care, any end-of-life care to be brought about.
Okay. All right. The fifth and final component of an estate plan is actually to review your estate plan and make any necessary updates or adjustments, right? So how often do you guys at Williams-Colson recommend that an estate plan be reviewed?
So I would say if you're a younger person, maybe every 3 years, review your estate plan if you have had no major life changes. So that's the other component when you should review your plan, a major life change. And what I mean is an addition to the family. If you have a child, your first child, your children are becoming older. So maybe you had a will drafted when your children were 3 and 5, and now your children are 25 and 30. There's been a lot of life change in those years. As well as maybe every 3 years, just to keep in touch with tax law changes as well as any trust law changes. As we know, tax laws change a lot, and right now there's a lot of consideration, change in tax laws.
Well, that's the perfect segue into the next video that you guys should be checking out. So we're going to be talking about Corey's most notable points of the proposed tax law changes that we are seeing right now from the current administration. And Corey's going to be giving his insights to that. So stay tuned for that next video. Make sure to check it out. And thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time.